Aryna Sabalenka and Naomi Osaka make it to the round of 16 at Indian Wells. World number 1 Aryna Sabalenka powered past Romania's Jacqueline Christian 6-4, 6-1 on Sunday to line up a fourth-round clash with former champion Naomi Osaka at Indian Wells. Japan's Osaka, seeded 16th, pounced for a 6-1, 3-6, 6-1 victory over Camila Osorio to avenge a demoralizing first-round loss to the Colombian here last year. Sabalenka is chasing a first title in the prestigious ATP and WTA Masters 1000 event after twice coming up empty in the final. Osaka won her first title in Indian Wells in 2018, going on to win the US Open that year in a run that included a victory over Sabalenka. That's the only meeting to date between the two, who are now both four-time Grand Slam champions. There were a few blips, notably a double fault on break point as she served for the opening set. Sabalenka responded by breaking Christian to pocket the set and was satisfied with an overpowering performance. "I knew that she was not going to give up easily," she said. "That's why I was super focused, especially on my serve. I didn't want to give her much opportunity, so super happy with the serving, with the game and of course with the win." Sixth-seeded American Amanda Anisimova faces another former Grand Slam champion in Britain's Emma Raducanu, who last month reached her first WTA final since her shock run to the 2021 US Open title. Fourth-seeded Coco Gauff headlines the night session, taking on rising Philippines star Alexandra Ila, who gets a quick chance for revenge after falling 6-0, 6-2 to the American in the Dubai quarterfinals last month. "I'm excited," Ila said. "It was a tough match for me last time. I think she played really well. So all I can do is take the learnings that I have from our last match and try to implement that in our next one." Gauff, coming off an awkward 6-3, 7-6-5 win over qualifier Kamila Rakimova, can expect plenty of crowd support. But so can Ila, who is drawing her usual contingent of loyal Filipino fans in the California desert. "It means the world to have this community behind me in such a prestigious tournament," Ila said after enthusiastic fans backed her through a chilly, late-night win over Diana Yastremska. "It really added to the feelings and the emotions after the match." Tennis: The desert awakens. A duel of titans, Sabalenka and Osaka shine at Indian Wells. In the golden expanse of the Californian desert, where the late winter sun kisses the palm trees and the spectators' cheers echo like distant thunder, two of women's tennis' most compelling figures, Aryna Sabalenka and Naomi Osaka, carved their routes into the round of 16 at the legendary BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells. It was not merely another day on the WTA Tour. It was a collision of histories, styles, emotions, and a reminder why the sport continues to captivate hearts around the globe. Glowing star Sabalenka, world number 1 on a mission. The tournament has long been something of a mystery for Sabalenka. A player whose ferocity on the court is matched only by her deep well of ambition, she had never yet hoisted the Indian Wells trophy despite being one of the sport's most dominant forces. This year, the world number 1 arrived with purpose, poised to change her narrative. In her round of 32 showdown, Sabalenka dismantled Romania's Jacqueline Christian with ruthless precision, winning 6-4, 6-1 to secure her place in the round of 16. The stat line tells part of the story: 23 winners, controlled movement, aggressive serving, but the real headline was her mental clarity. There were no flashes of volatility, no unanswered errors, just a focused assault from baseline to net. Sabalenka wanted nothing more than to seize control and not relinquish it, and she did just that. It's a testament to her maturation as a champion that today she plays with a serenity many might have thought impossible a few years ago. Her name is now synonymous with dominance on big stages, and Indian Wells might finally be the place where she etches her name into its lore. Japan: Osaka, the return of the Phoenix. Meanwhile, on another court under the dazzling desert sky, Naomi Osaka reminded us all why she became a household name. The former champion, who first announced herself with a title run here in 2018, faced a gritty battle against Colombia's Camila Osorio. Osaka won 6-1, 3-6, 6-1, a scoreline that read as a roller coaster but showed something deeper: resilience. This was not a perfect match by any stretch, but it was a declaration. she's back in the conversation, and not as a footnote but as a contender. For Osaka, Indian Wells hasn't always been just another tournament. It was where she burst into the world's consciousness, where she first showed her ability to mix power with peace and raw force with thoughtful strategy. Her 2026 campaign may not have been smooth sailing, but it showed she still possesses that rare ability to rise again when the stakes are highest. Performing arts styles in contrast, goals aligned. Watching Sabalenka and Osaka advance from the round of 32 is a study in contrast and yet synchronicity. Sabalenka, the storm, a force of nature, powerful strokes, unshakable backbone, an aura of inevitability with every crack of the racket. Her tennis is a spectacle, challenging opponents to match both her power and her temperament. Osaka, the strategist, quiet, cerebral, deceptively explosive. Her power is calculated and her mistakes measured. She plays the long game with patience, intelligently picking her moments to strike. These contrasting philosophies make their next potential matchup a true clash of titans, one of the most eagerly awaited in the women's draw. Fire beyond the scoreboard. What this means? Their simultaneous journey to the last 16 symbolizes more than just wins. It speaks to legacy, inspiration, and empowerment. Legacy in motion. Sabalenka is writing perhaps her most meaningful chapter. While many saw her rise as purely statistical, rankings, titles, records, her ascent at Indian Wells feels narrative-rich. This tournament could represent a turning point, a first title on these hallowed courts that has eluded her for years. Inspiration renewed. Osaka, after battling injuries and time away from top-level competition, serves notice she remains a force. Young fans, women's tennis hopefuls, and even seasoned veterans see in her comeback the quintessential athletic truth. Resilience is as valuable as raw talent. A global moment. It's poetic that these two, a Belarusian powerhouse and a Japanese icon, stand at the forefront in Californian tennis paradise. They embody the diversity, depth, and global reach of women's tennis. Their stories resonate from Tokyo to Minsk, from classrooms to community courts. Tennis looking ahead, the road to glory. With both Sabalenka and Osaka in the round of 16, the plot thickens. Sabalenka's next opponent could be Osaka herself, a rematch of a historic rivalry that stretches back to their 2018 encounter in the US Open, where Osaka triumphed before going on to the title. If they meet, it won't just be a match, it will be a narrative culmination. Power versus precision, youthful dominance versus rekindled excellence. Either outcome would send ripples through the tournament and the broader tennis landscape, and for fans, it's the kind of storytelling sport lives for.